What is the quantum field? The scientific ground of all that is. From the book God is the Quantum Field, rewriting the name of the divine through energy, entanglement, and awareness. Opening, the return of the divine as frequency before matter, before light, before even the word God was spoken, there was a field. Not a void, but a vibrating fullness. Not a creator separate from creation, but a presence within the pulse of every particle. What once seemed empty, distant, or divine is now trembling at our fingertips, revealing itself not through scriptures, but through spin, frequency, and flow. The quantum field is not only the language of reality, it is the language of divinity, rewritten in waveforms and woven through our very being. To understand it is not only to glimpse the structure of the universe, but to feel the echo of the infinite calling us home. History. From classical certainty to quantum mystery. It began with the ancients peering into the stars and calling it cosmos, believing the gods danced beyond reach. Then came Newton, who measured that dance with laws of motion, ushering in a world where the divine was mechanical, predictable, and absent from the unseen. Yet even Newton's clarity would fracture beneath the pressure of the invisible, as electricity, magnetism, and light defied the solidity of matter. The 20th century arrived like thunder. Planck, Einstein, Bohr, Schrödinger. Each voice cracked open the classical model until only paradox remained. The Newtonian cosmos of separate things collapsed into a world of probability and participation. It was James Clerk Maxwell who first hinted at the field, unifying electricity and magnetism into an invisible force, electromagnetic fields rippling through space. Then Einstein, with his general theory of relativity, declared even gravity was not a force, but the curvature of space-time itself. By the time Max Planck introduced the quantum, and Heisenberg shattered certainty with his uncertainty principle, the classical illusion had died. Niels Bohr whispered, "Reality is what we measure," but David Bohm would later reply, "There is a deeper order." In this lineage, we arrive at quantum field theory, QFT, the convergence of the visible and the unseen. The field had returned, not as myth, but as mathematics. As documented in The Quantum Story by Jim Baggett, the field has always hovered just outside human understanding, waiting not to be discovered, but remembered. Sash Science, vibrations, not things. Quantum field theory is the most accurate scientific framework humanity has ever known. It posits that all particles, electrons, photons, quarks, are not standalone things, but excitations in underlying fields. Every type of particle has its own field stretching across space, and what we call matter is simply a ripple, a vibration, a wave in that field. Space is not empty. It is a vast sea of potential. The quantum field is non-local, meaning a particle's behavior is not confined to one point in space or time. As Brian Greene explains in The Fabric of the Cosmos, reality at this scale defies our logic. Entangled particles seem to communicate faster than light. This is not magic, but structure, nature woven with threads that connect without contact. Matter is not solid. An atom is 99.99% space, and that space is not emptiness, but pure field. The 0.01 cent, the nucleus and electron cloud, is just collapsed probability. As Carlo Rovelli writes in Reality is Not What It Seems, what we call reality is a dance of quantum interactions. And those interactions are fielded events. Even the Higgs boson, the so-called God particle, is not a particle in the traditional sense. It is a vibration in the Higgs field, a field that gives mass to others. This revelation, confirmed by experiments at CERN's Large Hadron Collider, is a cornerstone of the Standard Model. We live not in a world of things, but in a symphony of fields, each note born from interaction, not isolation. As Sean Carroll states in The Big Picture, particles are epiphenomena, fields are reality. If God is anything in the scientific tongue, it is not a being in the sky, but the field that allows all beings to arise. And philosophy, no separation, only participation. The philosophical implications of quantum field theory shake the very ground of Western metaphysics. For millennia, we believed in things, fixed objects, immutable essences, separateness. But the field says there is no thing, only relation. What is a self when all that exists is entanglement? The philosopher Karen Barad, in her work Meeting the Universe Halfway, calls this agential realism. The idea that observer and observed are not separate, but co-arising. To observe is to become. To become is to entangle. And to entangle is to remember that there is no edge to identity, only frequency. The old metaphor of God as an external father or judge collapses in this framework. Instead, God emerges as immanence, a presence not beyond but within. The field is not above creation but inside it. The wave is the world, and we are not separate surfers. We are the surf. In The Field by Lynn McTaggart, the quantum field is portrayed not just as a physical phenomenon, but as an informational conscious matrix. She compiles decades of experiments showing that human intention can affect random number generators, plant growth, even healing. If the field responds, it is not inert. It is aware. Michael Talbot, in The Holographic Universe, explores how the mind and field co-create a projected reality, a hologram arising from wave interference. Perception, then, is not passive. It is a sculpting of the field through consciousness. Thus, the divine shifts from the watcher of deeds to the weaver of waves. A God that is not separate from the breath, but is the breath becoming form, spirit, the embodied field. To say God is the quantum field is not metaphor, it is revelation. The sacred is not somewhere else, in some other realm or afterlife. It is here in this oscillation of now. The field is not worshipped, it is lived. When mystics speak of oneness, they are intuiting what physicists calculate. When sages teach non-duality, they are expressing what science models. In the quantum field, separation is illusion, just as the awakened heart has always known. The Kena Upanishad, written over 2,500 years ago, begins with the question, by whom willed and directed does the mind go toward its object? The answer is silence. A presence that moves all yet cannot be seen. A field. The mystic Teilhard de Chardin foresaw this. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human field event. The Buddha called it interbeing. Christ called it the kingdom within. And we now call it the quantum field. In Energy Medicine by Donna Eden, energy fields are not theoretical. They are tangible, treatable, and sacred. She maps how blockages in the body's field lead to illness, and how restoration of flow restores life. Healing is not magic. It is resonance. To align with the field is to realign with divinity. And in Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, the field is accessed through breath, awareness, coherence. Divinity is not distant. It is designed into the nervous system. The body is not separate from spirit. It is a quantum receiver, attuned to presence. Conclusion. The field remembers you. The question is no longer whether the field exists. It is whether we are willing to surrender the illusion of separation and remember what the field reveals. God is not a name to be believed in, but a frequency to be remembered. Not a noun, but a verb. Not a command, but a current. As we speak this new name, not with breath but with being, the field listens, responds, entangles. We are not seeking God. We are the field awakening to itself. Awakening questions. What beliefs about God dissolve when you understand the universe as a field of vibration? Can you feel the difference between being separate and being entangled? What happens in your body when you stop naming reality as solid? If your thoughts are ripples, what are you resonating with now? Final 4 lines. There is no center, no edge, only field, only presence. God was never watching from afar. God is the waveform watching itself.